So today I want to talk to you guys about 7 critical things that you should know before starting a lawn care business. Now, this is my opinion. Again, is not I guess the main consensus. So keep that into consideration, right? I can only tell you what I know. Now, my name is Johnny. I'm the owner of Blaze of Grass Lawn Care, and I've been doing lawn care for the past 13 years. After retiring from a 25 and a half year active duty career in the United States Army. So, the first thing that I want you guys to consider before you start a lawn care business is you have to know your local market, right? You have to understand the demand. Are you in a neighborhood with high grass growth, and homeowners that are willing to pay for it? If not, then you need to scope out and find locations where you feel that you can get the money that you are trying to charge, right? Because let's be honest. You don't want to be in a neighborhood where you clearly know that they can't afford to pay you. Okay? Enough said about that. So you have to do your research, right? Research your competitors. Know what they're charging, what services they're offering, and kind of know how you can make yourself different from the rest, right? Because you want to stand out. You know, at the beginning, nobody knows who you are, so you need to stand out. Once you get that one property, the first one, which should be, the first couple of customers, let your friends know, let your family members know, and then go out there, do the best that you can, take before and after pictures, and man, use social media. Okay, use social media, post before and after, let people know what you can do. You know, don't get in there and start posting about lawn mowers and string trimmers and all that good stuff. Customers don't care about that. Okay, customers want to know, want to see before and after. This is what I had and this is what I can do. Make sense? All right, let's go into number two. Start lean. I understand you're watching social media, I understand you're watching YouTube, and you see all this brand new equipment and all this expensive stuff. Listen, start with what you have. When I first started, I have my pickup truck and I had a push mower. Not even a self-propel. I had a push mower. Yes, I could have went out there and bought me a self-propel because I was retired from the military. Now, I used my home push mower and I went out there and reinvested into the business, right? You have to begin with, reliable equipment like, a reliable lawnmower, a trimmer, and a blower. That's all you need to start, right? Later on, you can graduate into a blade edger if that's what you want, and a trailer. But right now, you can take a 21-inch push mower, throw it in the back of your truck, a string trimmer, and a blower. That's all. That is all you need. That is all you need. Now, remember, don't go cheap on equipment, right? Because downtime from repairs will kill your profit, and it would also kill your reputation because customers expect you to be there on the day you say you're supposed to be there. Don't give them a time, give them a day. And if for any reason, the weather's acting up, then, send them a text, right? Um, Consider battery powered tools for lower maintenance, you know, and eco conscious clients. Now, if you want to get into the battery equipment round, I would suggest an hedge trimmer. Okay, get you a battery hedge trimmer, and see how you like it, and eventually, you can uh, uh, graduate to something better. Oh, real quick about this property here that I'm mowing, just so you know, we are going through a slight drought, and this one I'm mowing at 1 inch. So, I kind of spoke to the customer and told him, hey, listen, we have to turn on your water. and water this, right? But hey, it is what it is. All right, let's get into number 3, which is licensing, insurance, and legal setup, right? Get a business license and check your local regulations, i.e., if you want to start applying for and weed control, you got to be licensed, guys. You know, um, at the beginning, if you're mowing family and friends, your insurance is not that important. But if you have the money, shop around for liability insurance. I can give you a suggestion because it all depends on your location and what you actually are doing, right? And later on, once you really say, I want to get into this, then you can go into, your LLC or sole proprietor and all that good stuff, right? But that's later on. But keep that in mind. The first thing that I will tell you, once you really, really want to do this legit, is get your license. And all you have to do is Google business license near me, and it'll tell you exactly where to go to, and you can call them and find out. And your liability insurance, just in case you bust a window and things like that, right? Because believe it or not, when I first started, I busted a window, and that window was $3,000. Yes, because it was imported from Italy. So don't be under the impression that you can just come out the pocket and pay 100 and change to fix somebody's window. Especially when you mowing those affluent customers, right? Number 4 is pricing. You have to price smartly. Don't try to be the cheap guy. I'm telling you, cheap customers are the biggest pain in the rear end. I promise you, been there, done that, and everyone will tell you, okay? Cheap customers are the most, and don't get me wrong, ones that pay good money as well, but your biggest pain in the rear end are your cheapest customers. So know, you got to know your fuel costs, your maintenance costs, your insurance costs. So I would suggest to set a minimum for your business, right? Let's say, you're not going to do any job under $40 for the hour. You know what I mean? So, you're starting out. Eventually, believe me, you're going to figure out how much to charge per hour, right? And remember, don't race to the bottom, right? Charge what you're worth even early on. Just start out charging, have a bare minimum, and take it from there. Because once you're known as a cheap guy, believe me, it's going to be hard to get rid of it. Number 5, focus on customer experiences. Answer your phone, show up on time, and communicate well. I personally don't tell the customers what time I'm going to be there, but they already know what day I'm going to be there. And if, like I said before, for any reason, weather is bad or I'm backed up or whatever the case might be, send them a text. You don't have to call them. Send them a text. You have to be consistent, and you got to be reliable to earn faster referrals. Because once you're doing your job and you're there all the time, customers are going to love that because they don't have to worry about you. And if a friend say, hey, do you know anybody who does lawn or whatever the case might be, bam, they're going to call you. They're going to mention you, right? And one other thing too is if you get into that subdivision or that location, always try to market in that same location, because you want to have the most customers in the one specific area, right? Because you don't want to have windshield time, and that's what we call that wasted time when you're going from point A to point B in our industry. That is called windshield time. You're spending your time 30 minutes driving to the next town and 30 minutes back. That's an whole hour that you wasted where you could have been mowing somebody's property, right? Another thing is plan for the season. Listen, your income will fluctuate, so you need to budget for slow season. If you're up north, offer snow removal, leaf cleanup, gutter cleaning. You have to build up your cash for time when things are slow. I wish I would have known that Luckily in my area, um, we work year round, but yeah, it does slow down. And I tell people all the time, you have to save your money when you're really making that money, because that time is gonna come, and we all go through it, right? One thing that you also have to know, guys, let me tell you, you have to put your customers on a schedule. Listen, those days of customers calling you when they need you are gone. If you want to make money in this business, if you want to have a business, you gotta have a schedule. You have to put those customers either on a weekly or a bi-weekly schedule. Hit them up every 7 days or hit them up every 14 days. Why? Because you want to have that recurring income. Without that, you're going to be sitting at the house just waiting for the phone to ring. And next thing you know, you're going to be taking on a whole bunch of one-time jobs. Nothing wrong about the one-time jobs. Okay? There's nothing wrong with it. But you want that steady income coming in all the time. That's the only way you're going to make some dollars, guys. And I wish I would have known that when I first started, because, again, I was just, a call me when you need me guy. And I was sitting up at the house going, what the heck, man? Until one of my customers basically asked me, he says, hey, are you coming here? No, I need you to come every 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then another one said it. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to tell everybody I'm going to come every 2 weeks. And that's the way I kind of figured it out until I learned that, hey, yeah, you need to put customers on a schedule in order to make money, right? So, guys, if you're been in the industry for a while, let me know something that you wish you knew before starting your lawn care business. Because, guys, let me tell you, it's not as easy as you may think it is. Your first 2-3 years, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Okay? Now, you have those exceptions where, things start out great and they continue great, but it's going to be rough. You're going to have issues, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to manage and deal with certain situations and customers, and which customers you want, which ones you don't want, the ones that want free stuff and don't want to pay for it, so on and so forth. It is a learning process. So continue on watching this video, guys, and let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, so I'm all done. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff. See you on the next one. Look at that beautiful property. Boy, I tell you. Pop smoke. Peace.